If you're looking for the best plants for betta fish, here's a list you must see. We made this list based on our personal preference and sorted it based on their features, prices, quality, durability, and reputation of the manufacturers and customer feedback. Also, we've included options for every type of customer. So let's get started. At the first position of our list, we have Java Fern Bare Root. Java Fern is another plant that I recommend for those starting their first betta fish aquarium. On average, these plants grow about 10 inches long. This is a manageable size for the average betta setup, which is a 5 to 10 gallon aquarium. They do not need much light and make great low-light plants. Low light has the added benefit of minimizing algae growth in your aquarium. Combined with snails and ghost shrimp, algae would have an uphill battle ahead. They require the same water levels and temperatures that betta fish do, making them an ideal tank mate. Bettas also enjoy hiding in these plants. Their leaves offer a broad cover, making them perfect for bettas showing signs of stress. Java ferns are also a wonderful option for those who enjoy aquascaping. They can also be a budget-friendly option. One plant may be cut into smaller pieces and attached elsewhere in your betta's aquarium. This gets you more for your money. Or, if you ask your betta, more money for bloodworms. Moving on to the next at number 2 with one Hornwort Bunch. Betta fish also enjoy hornwort planted in their aquariums. Hornwort provides many hiding spots, and it can be planted in the substrate or float freely. Like all live plants, they also act as a natural filter, absorbing waste and toxins from the tank. If you plan to breed betta, this plant is an excellent choice. All you need to do is allow the hornwort to float in your aquarium or grow to the water surface. Doing so will give the male betta an ideal place to construct its bubble nest. Also, due to the structure of the plant, it may encourage mating. This is due to the fact that the hornwort provides great structure for the fry to seek shelter in. Hornwort is also an ideal plant for a beginning aquarist as it is not difficult to grow. This plant should be grown in at least a 15-gallon aquarium. It is also useful in reducing algae growth and oxygenating the aquarium water. It may occasionally shed plant debris, but these can be used to propagate new hornwort plants if you so choose. The number 3 position is held by betta fish leaf pad betta hammock toys plastic aquarium plants. While they are technically artificial plants, I do recommend that any betta owner give them a try. Betta hammocks are typically 1 to 3 plastic leaves with a suction cup to attach to the side of the aquarium. They are placed near the water surface. The intent is to provide a place for your betta to rest on. Many people have a lot of success in getting their bettas to rest on betta hammocks. My bettas normally do not use them to rest on but prefer the live plants instead. My bettas have used them to secure bubble nests too. They can also be useful for feeding bettas who do not eat quickly. Simply put the food in the tank over the hammock. If it isn't eaten right away, it will sink and rest on the hammock where it can be easily picked up and eaten later. Betta hammocks can also be essential in hospital or quarantine aquariums. If ill fish are too weak to swim, they may rest near the surface on their hammock. This allows them to breathe air when necessary without having to struggle to swim to the surface. Next at number 4 we have Amazon sword paniculatus potted live aquarium plants. The Amazon sword plant is a tropical, broad-leaved species that can grow up to 3 feet tall, although aquarium specimens don't generally reach that size. That said, the Amazon sword is generally recommended for a larger aquarium of at least 10 gallons and is not suitable for a nano tank or small setup. The plant should be firmly anchored in at least 3 inches of the substrate to prevent the leaves from catching the water flow in the tank and being uprooted. Also, the species requires a nutrient supplement and additional CO2 to boost growth. Bettas love to rest on the plant's broad, hammock-like leaves, which also provide an extra surface area on which beneficial bacteria can grow. You can propagate the plant by planting its seeds in moist sand, or simply by removing new plants that develop on submerged flowering stems and planting them directly into the substrate. Periodically, remove dead or algae-covered leaves by pinching or trimming them cleanly at the base of the stem. The number 5 position is held by Bolbitis difformis baby leaf fern. Bolbitis heterocleta difformis is a small, fine-leaved species of dwarf fern that is sometimes sold under the name mini Bolbitis. The plant comes from the island of Negros in the Philippines but wasn't discovered as an aquarium plant until very recently. The plant can grow submerged or immersed, although the underwater part of the plant is very slow to grow and its parsley-like leaves are smaller than those of the emerged part of the plant. The plant can be grown attached to driftwood or rocks with twine until the roots take over to form an anchor. The plant is dark green in color with delicate, pinnate leaves growing to around 3 inches in height. Eventually, Bolbitis heterocleta difformis will form a dense carpet if given the right conditions. You can propagate the plant relatively easily by cutting off daughter plants from the main stem or taking cuttings. The plant will spread by putting out rhizomes, but it is very slow to grow. The number 6 position is dominated by Greenpro live aquarium plants. Green gecko is a great choice for beginner hobbyists thanks to its tolerance of a wide range of aquarium conditions and its hardiness. The plant comes from Sri Lanka and is an extremely attractive, broad-leaved plant. The leaves are pale green with a reddish-brown zone in the center of the leaf around the stalk and a dark, red-brown midrib. Bettas love to rest on the leaves of the plant, whose wavy leaf margins create the perfect hammock shape for your snoozing fish. Like many of the cryptocoryne species, green gecko grows slowly and is pretty undemanding when it comes to its care requirements. You can encourage more vigorous, lush growth by providing good quality LED lighting, CO2, and high-quality aquarium soil. To propagate the plant, simply snip off new plantlets from the mother plant and put them into some aquarium soil. With its 5 to 6 inch leaves, this low-growing plant is perfect for the midground of your planted betta tank. Moving on to the next at number 7 with Greenpro Java Moss Live Freshwater Aquarium Plants. Java Moss comes from Southeast Asia. This is one of the most extremely easy to care for and hardy aquatic plants you can find, which makes it a good choice for the beginner aquarist. This aquatic moss is also very visually appealing, and it grows well in both low and high light settings. Java moss is very versatile, growing attached to driftwood, planted in the substrate as a brilliant green carpet plant, or floating on the water surface. This plant makes a great choice for a betta or community tank and is readily available from all good fish stores and online. The number 8 position is held by Greenpro Microsorum Pteropus Java Fern Tall Full Potted Live Aquarium Plants. Java Fern is a great plant for new betta owners. It doesn't have many care requirements and does well in many freshwater tanks. It acclimates especially well to the climate and conditions of a betta fish tank, which means you won't have to adjust your betta's water too much. In addition, Java Fern has low lighting needs, so you won't need to go out and buy a complicated LED system to grow this plant. Fertilizer is recommended for this plant as well, as it will keep your Java healthy. You want large leaves for your betta to lounge in. Ferns generally produce big foliage, but fertilizer will help grow them bigger. This is a slow-growing plant that needs an extra boost to create the ultimate habitat for betta. Just make sure you are pruning this plant and getting rid of dead material, and ensure that you plant the Java correctly. Its roots should not be covered or buried deeply in a substrate. Really, it's best to let it root on driftwood or rocks. To fix the plant to wood or rocks, you can use fishing line or super glue. Next at number 9 we have Planterest Hornwort Ceratophyllum Demersum Live Aquarium Plant. Hornwort is also well liked by betta fish. It takes a bit more effort to grow this in comparison to Java Fern, but you can still cultivate this plant if you don't have a lot of experience with tanks. Just be aware, a hornwort has a rapid growth rate. It multiplies fast and leaves behind a lot of plant material. As a result, you will have to get rid of left behind foliage often, which does need some work. Still, it's necessary if you want to keep your planted tank under control. Pruning this plant will leave behind less of mess though, and you can still add fertilizer. Just don't go overboard. Keeping fertilizer to just the minimal need will allow this plant to survive, but not grow as quickly. Overall, the hornwort adjusts to betta conditions well. It's also another plant that gives great coverage for betta. It gets pretty tall though, so make sure you have ample room for this plant in your betta tank. Finally, the number 10 position is dominated by Planterest Java Moss. Java Moss care is super simple to look after, as they have many adaptable features. They tend to like less light than other plants. The only problem is that they don't provide the best coverage for betta. They do fill up your tank well, but they don't offer large leaves for fish to hide in. Still, these are nice looking plants that create a nice blanket for betta tanks. Other plants can even be grown in this, and you create a natural looking grass floor for your aquarium. What's really appealing about the Java Moss though is its ability to improve tank water. They are one of the best plants to use if you want to effectively oxygenate a tank. Bettas will get great benefits from this plant and breathe better in their home. It's not hard to plant the moss, and you won't need substrate like other flora. You can let this plant float freely or attach it to rocks and wood. And make sure to trim the moss, so it does not grow wildly in your tank. That's all for today. We upload fishing product review videos every single day. So, don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell icon for the upcoming video notification.